day 18 of Month of Biz Love. I'm Tara Swigert. I help makers and artists feel awesome about their business, and one of the ways that we do that is through this Month of Biz Love 30-day challenge to help you love your business more. Now, the challenge includes these daily video lessons, and this is lesson 18. If you've missed the earlier ones, you can click on the Month of Biz Love playlist and watch them all in YouTube. If you're somehow not watching this on YouTube, you can just go to taraswiger.com/YouTube to find all my videos. The second part of it after the video lessons is the workbook. So I'm going to ask questions in today's videos and in all the videos, but there's a workbook that helps you dig deeper into applying it to your own business, because that's what's going to help you love your business more, is if you actually take what you're learning and apply it to what you're doing day in and day out. You can find that workbook at taraswiger.com/monthofbizlove. All of the links that I mentioned in today's lessons are linked up in today's challenge in the workbook, and if you're watching on YouTube, it'll be linked below. The third part of it is the Instagram community. Use the hashtag #monthofbizlove and answer these questions, at least the portions of the questions that you feel comfortable answering publicly. Answer those on Instagram, on your own Instagram account with the hashtag #monthofbizlove, and you will be chatting with the rest of the community. So anybody who clicks on that link can see all of the posts together. You can too. After you post your photo with the hashtag, click on the hashtag and go comment and like and get to know the other people who are trying to love their business more. It's a really great way of meeting some business allies, which is what we're going to be talking about today. So we've talked about, your big mission, setting your goal, breaking it down into quests that you're going to go on. We've talked about staying motivated. We've talked about both obstacles and strengths. One of the things that is a part of you going on this mission to create a business that you really love is to recognize you're not in it alone. You absolutely have allies who are trying to help you along the way, and you need to. You need to not just have them, but you need to think about how you're empowering them to help you. So I've got some suggestions for how to find allies, what kind of allies you need, and how to get them on your side and get them working towards making your dream happen. So first of all, let's talk about types of allies you might need. The first kind of ally, there are about three that I could think of. The first one is your friends and family, the people who are in your life who are already providing emotional support for you. Now, it's important that you distinguish between people who are already providing emotional support to you and people who are in your friends and families that don't provide emotional support, that are not part of the people who build you up and support you and encourage you. I'm not talking about those. Those are not your allies in your business. Trying to get them on the side of your business is going to be extremely hard, and they're not going to be the best skilled people at helping you reach your dream if they're not already being supportive and encouraging in every other area of your life. Okay? So those subset of people who are not super supportive about anything you've done in your life, I would highly recommend that you do not tell them too much about your business and your dreams and your mission. Not because you're hiding it, simply because having them throw cold water in it will kill your motivation. It'll make you question things, and they're not the best source of insight into you and what you love and what you're doing. So you don't want to give them too much power and input, especially in your business, especially when it's feeling really vulnerable or new or you're excited. They're just not going to be able to get excited with you. Doesn't mean you don't tell them that you have a business or that you're working on your business. It's just that everything I say about getting allies on board with you doesn't apply to those people. Just have a short answer you give those people. So I say, I'm teaching around the country, and that's kind of where I end it. I don't even talk about the podcast, the videos, my blog, my website, my online classes, unless I'm doing something that they can understand more, like when I go to San Francisco and I teach for Creative Live and I create that kind of online class. But even that's hard for the people to understand. So a lot I just say, I teach and write for makers and artists, and I might mention a couple of the classes I've taught in person, and I just leave it at that. But I don't say, you know what, my goal is to get a book deal, and this is what the book is going to be about. Could you help me find, whatever, or do you have any advice? I don't say that at all to the people who aren't supportive already in my life, okay? That's the important distinction. Now, the subset of your friends and family who are supportive and encouraging, and hopefully that's a big percentage of them. I hope that your life is filled with way more supportive people than unsupportive people. So with those people, here's how I want you to think about it. And this is through my own experience and also working with a lot of people with a lot of different family situations and friend groups and coming from different backgrounds. The people who are emotionally supportive in your life, you can get them on board to help emotionally support and encourage you in your business. Now that's distinct from getting them to help you with business advice. So keep in mind, you can have different friends, family members, loved ones be your ally and encourager in your business, but without you needing to fill them in on all of the details of your business. Because frankly, a lot of people who love you and love what you're doing don't want to hear the details. And it's not because they don't love you, it's because they don't want to talk about business. They're not interested in tax deductions or in host options for your website, or in my case, the thing I was obsessed with for the last year is the right email software to deliver the programs in the way I want it to be delivered, and the right teaching platforms. Oh my goodness. Your loved ones might be really encouraging and supportive, but when it gets too technical, they're like, they can't follow along. It's not fun for them. They start to lose the thread of what you're saying. So with your loved ones, your emotional support, know that they can support you emotionally and encourage you, and without getting too detailed. And you know what people are interested in. You know the people in your life that they're interested in, what they want to hear about from you. So get them on board helping you with that. But don't be upset that they can't give you feedback on, is this teaching platform better than that teaching platform? Or is Etsy better than Shopify? Asking for that kind of response for those people is going to make them feel like they can't be helpful. Instead, what you can do with these people is ask them to support you in the emotional ways you need support, or even in the physical ways you need support. Like, I have a big craft show coming up. Can you keep my kids for 6 hours on Saturday? Or I am working on a giant wholesale order. Can you make dinner tonight? Or can you come over and help me package orders? I have several students whose, when people say, oh my goodness, I'm so excited, I'd love to help you, they say, great, can you come package orders with me? And that's a way for them to spend time together, because like they can't leave their studio. They can't go out and get drinks or go to dinner or go to a movie. But what they say instead is, if you'd like to hang out, we could come hang out in my studio. And they have a good time, and it's fun. And the people get to feel like they're supporting you in your business. So with friends and family, get them to support you in the ways that they can best support you. Ask them. When I say get, what I really mean is ask. Be very explicit about what it is you need from them. Let's back up. First, I want you to be specific about what it is you want from them, about what kind of support you would like that you're either not getting or that you think you're going to need in the future. And then think through each person and say, what are the things that they would best be suited to help me with? What have they helped me with in the past? What do I feel comfortable asking them for? And then ask them and be explicit. I cannot say this enough. If you want your spouse to be more supportive by doing housework, say that. If you want your partner to be more helpful by doing childcare, say that. If you want them to be supportive financially, say that. But say exactly what it is, because some people will hear, I want you to support me in my business, and will think you mean financially, or they'll think you mean with housework, and you might mean the opposite. So be explicit about what you want. The only way you can be explicit about what you want is for you to get clear on what you want first, and then think through, can I get this from this person? Some people won't be able to give you what you want. That's okay. Anytime you ask for support, you have to be willing to accept they might not be able to give it to you. So you need to ask without attachment to the results. In other words, ask, but decide you'll be okay. You can make it even if they can't give you that. But I'll tell you, once you get clear about what it is you need and you ask for it, if the person isn't able to give it to you, and either they tell you that explicitly or over time you realize they're not able to support you in that way, you're already halfway there, because you know what you need, and now you know what you need to go out and seek someplace else, right? From a different friend, or from a more professional relationship, which we'll talk about in a minute, or from just other friends who are in business. You'll know, hey, I can't get this kind of support from my partner, so I need to get this kind of support in an accountability partner, or in another small business friend, or in a coach, or in a community. Okay, so you got to get clear on your needs first. So the first kind of ally, friends and family, only ask for help from the people who are already supportive and encouraging in your life and who think you're awesome and who want to help you do more of what you do. I have a whole podcast episode about how to get your friends and family to support you. I will link it up under the YouTube video. It's linked in the workbook, which again, you can get at taraswiger.com/monthofbizlove. I believe it's episode 61 about getting your friends and family to support your business. I give very specific step-by-step instructions on how to bring somebody on board into helping you with your business, and that's linked up in that workbook. So the second kind of business, the second kind of ally you might need is a business friend or just other business owners. I don't even like the word friend because you don't need to feel emotionally attached to them. You just simply need to be there for helping each other. So it might not be somebody that you would like go get coffee with every week, but you guys can help each other in your businesses because you're either in similar places or they're slightly advanced or you're slightly advanced, but helping them helps you build your own business muscles. So there are all kinds of ways these kinds of relationships can work. It might be somebody you just get to know on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, and you regularly message each other questions, or you post a question on Twitter and they regularly answer. And when they have a question, you try to answer. You might eventually move that relationship to email, which is really the best way to continue communicating regularly and get their specific feedback, because you can be more verbose in email than you can be on Twitter or even really Facebook, and the person can wait until they've got the time to respond. So what you're looking for in this kind of ally relationship is someone else who can talk about all the nitty-gritty business stuff that your friends and family are not interested in. So someone else who cares about your email software, or cares about your selling platforms, or cares about what a wholesale line sheet looks like. Somebody who cares about it either because they're figuring it out themselves, or because they've just recently figured it out, or they already know and they'd love to talk to you about it. And you can't have enough of these kinds of friends or allies. You cannot have too many people because everybody has a different specialty. So I met somebody new at a conference in October, and we spent the 2-3 hours at dinner only with a big table with a lot of teachers, only talking, oh my goodness, email software. And we both had the same problem. She had found a solution. She was just starting to use it. I had heard of that solution. I wasn't sure if it would work. We talked nonstop details about this email software. And she was the first person, even though I have a whole range of business friends and allies, she was the first person who had the same problem I had and who had testing a solution I was about to test. So it was super valuable that I was able to talk about something so specific with someone else who was on my same page and was willing to talk to me about it, excited to talk to me about it. Because here's the thing about making business friends and allies, is not everybody is going to be excited to talk to you about it. Either they're going to feel protective of the stuff that they've worked on, or they just don't feel like they know you enough to share those kinds of details of their business. So you can find these through hashtags like Month of Bizlove. You can get to know other people in the community. You can find these through groups, in-person groups, like the Academy of Handmade does in-person groups around the country. Right now, I think it's a lot on the West Coast. I've met their organizers. They're really awesome. You can find this in Facebook groups. There are a lot of Facebook groups for small business owners. I know Megan O'Toole has one, May Pack has one. Those are Facebook groups where you can go in and ask questions. They're totally free to join. I think you just have to sign up for those people's email newsletters. And a lot of people get value out of that. And here's the thing though, what you're looking for in those environments is 1 to 3 to 5 people you can connect with regularly. Instead of going into the group and just blasting it to the whole group, you're going to get a lot more value if you go in, you ask your questions, you also answer other people's questions, and you start to form relationships with individual people. Because as great as a group is, an individual person you can be like, hey Kim, do you know the answer to this? Is far more useful in your actual business day-to-day stuff than just regularly asking a group of people who don't know anything about you. Now, another solution to this problem is a paid community. And of course, I'm a pretty big fan of this because I'm a part of one free mastermind group and one paid group of people whose businesses are around the same level mine are and who have the same goals that my business has. And I run an online community for makers and artists that is a paid community because it has access to all of my classes. It has a weekly chat check-in where I'm there along with the members of the community, and we all check in on where you're at right now, what's going well, and do you have any questions. And it also has a forum where you can ask your questions 24/7 and get not just my answers, because I only know what I know and have experience with what I have experience with, but all the other makers and artists, which now it's over 100 people, all of their experiences, many of which are in the same industry as you or have been in the same industry. And that community is called the Starship. It opens up, if you're watching this live, it opens next Wednesday, and there are only 20 spots available. So if you're interested, the link is tarsweiger.com/starshipbiz. Now, I created that specifically to answer this ally's question because I was a member of a community like that, and I noticed that all of my, and this is when I was starting my yarn company, I noticed that there was no communities like that for makers and artists. There was no way for you to talk to other people who make a product by hand and sell that finished product. There just weren't communities like that back in when I started it in 2010. So I decided to start one. That's how the Starship got started. And what's helpful about that is it's got the community aspect where you can ask the question and get a whole bunch of people to answer, but people get to know each other, like really, really know each other. This weekend is the National Needle Arts Association, which is a trade show for the yarn and fiber and needle arts industry. And at the trade show, I think it's 8 of Starship members met up and had dinner together. And that's just like one trade show in June in DC. So it's a lot of the East Coast members. There are also things that happen on the West Coast. Like in January, I was at a TNNA show, and I think we had 10 or 12 people come to dinner and meet up. And there were another 4 or 5 that were actually vending at the show, so they weren't able to come to dinner. But that kind of community, it forms online, but then you get to know the individual people, and there are meetups all over the place. And the real thing is, once you get to know the people, a lot of the Starship members have taken their business friendships like offline. Like they will do coffee working dates if they live near somebody, or they will email each other directly instead of just asking the community. And I realized that some people were matching up with each other for accountability partners so that they can meet more regularly than the whole community meets in the weekly chat. And so we actually created an accountability partner program where we will match you up with somebody so you can have that one-on-one interaction. Because now that the group is bigger, when it started it was like 7 people. Now that it's over 100 people, it can feel when you're new like it's kind of hard to get to know people one-to-one until you get used to it, until you start talking, until people start getting to know you because you're posting regularly. So the accountability partner program matches you up with one other person, and then you guys hold each other accountable. So that's the last kind of ally that you need. So the first one is the people who support you emotionally and encourage you. The second one is people who you can talk specific, technical, boring, businessy details with, right? Like, how did you find your accountant, and do I need a lawyer to handle this, etc. You can find friends like that within communities, like free Facebook communities or my Starship community. And then the third one is accountability. Now that's different than just somebody you check in on normal business stuff with, because accountability, when I'm talking about accountability partner, it's someone who you've committed. We're going to check in at this interval, and I'm going to tell you what I got done, and I'm going to tell you what I want to get done next time. You'll do the same with me. And then when we check in next time, we'll say we either got that thing done or we didn't get that thing done. Now, accountability is really important for some people and not all that important for other people. And the best description I've ever found of this is in Gretchen Rubin's Better Than Before. And I did a whole podcast episode about your tendency. She talks in Better Than Before about how you react to external expectations, because that is key to how easy a time you have doing what you actually want to do. So some people just need to have decided internally that they want to do a thing. Once they have the internal expectation, they can go through and do it. Other people need an external expectation. They need someone else waiting for them, wanting them to do the thing, and they respond better to that. Some people respond better to respond really great to all kinds of expectations. Some people respond great to no expectations. So there is a quiz and a link to my podcast episode in the workbook where you can learn way more about what tendency you are. But so many of my students and captains have told me that once they figure out what tendency they have and then set up the systems to support that, the easier time they have doing the stuff they want to do in their business. So if you have figured out your goal, you have figured out your quests, you figured out your obstacles and your strengths, and you still realize you're having a hard time doing the things you really want to be doing in your business to build the business that you love, it may be that you need to set up a system of expectations that works for you. So it may be you have too many expectations and you're rebelling against them because that's not how you work well. It may be that you don't have enough systematic support, and that's what you need. So I want you to check that out. It's you can just Google the tendency, Gretchen Rubin tendency quiz, but the link is linked in the workbook, along with both. I did a podcast that talks about the 4 tendencies, and then another podcast where I made much more specific recommendations for each kind of tendency, how to find what you most need. This is exactly why we read this book as part of the Starship, as part of our informal book club, where we pick a book every 3 or 6 months and read it and talk about it in the forums. Better Than Before was one of those books. Everybody was sharing, oh, this is my tendency, this is my tendency. I need more accountability. I realized I don't have enough accountability. That is why I created the Accountability Partner Program, because so many people wanted more accountability. They wanted either to check in with somebody every day, just once a day, to say, hey, I'm working on this, or hey, I did this. Or they just wanted to feel like someone really was expecting them to check in weekly or even monthly. Just knowing that one other person was super expecting them to check in helped them get their work done better. So we created this program. It's totally free. It's part of the Starship. It's free for members that you just fill out a form. So I don't automatically match you up, only if you want to be matched up. Because here's the thing, I'm not a person that an outside accountability person helps. There's all these statistics about how much more likely you are to do your goal if you tell someone your goal, and you're even more likely, I think it's a difference between like 80% likely and then like 93% likely if someone else is expecting you to tell them your progress on the goal. However, if you have a tendency like me, just me setting the goal and telling other people is enough. If I have somebody regularly checking in, I don't respond well to it. So that's why it took me so many years to add in an accountability partner program. It's not something I would have thought of if I hadn't seen that so many of you need more accountability. And a lot of you just need more systematic ways to get these allies. If you're like me and you're an introvert, just making friends on the internet or making friends in person can be kind of hard. So it's great to join a community where we systematize you interacting with other people who have your same goals, who have your same questions about technology or business decisions, and also who can hold you accountable and who are there because they want to be held accountable. It's really great to be in a place where you know you're all working towards the same goal, or you all have the same like approach. You're all there for the same reason, building your business. So those are the kinds of allies you need. We talked a little bit about accountability and how important it is for some of you, depending on your tendency. The workbook today asks you to take the quiz, come back and write down what your tendency is, and then ask you, are you getting the kind of support you need in your business? Maybe you need to talk to your friends and families about being more supportive and getting actual physical support in your life, like getting help so that you can work more on your business. Maybe you need like more business support. Maybe you don't have anybody to talk business stuff with, which, let me tell you, it is so great to be able to talk to someone who also has your questions about your weird areas that you cannot find a solution to. That's so helpful. Or you might need accountability support. You might have business friends, but not have anybody that you're checking in regularly with. You can do it, by the way, you can do it through something like the Starship Accountability Program, or you can set it up with one of your business friends. If you already have a business friend, you're both working on a goal, you can say, hey, I realize I need more accountability. Do you need more accountability? Take this quiz. And if you are an obliger, maybe we could be that for each other. How often do you want to check in? This is definitely something you can set up on your own. I also have a podcast episode about accountability if you want to listen more about that. I will link it all in the notes on YouTube. So thank you so much for watching. Oh, don't forget, I want you to take the quiz and tell me, what is your tendency and what kind of support do you need that you're not getting? Or, if you'd rather, on Instagram, tell me who your allies are. It's always fun and easy to highlight people who are supporting you and encouraging you. So if you don't feel comfortable telling the whole world the kind of support you don't have, then tell the world what kind of support you do have. Share the answer to one of those questions on Instagram with the hashtag #MonthOfBizLove, and I will be checking it out. Be sure to click around and look at what other people are sharing. Very inspiring and helpful. And yeah, and don't forget to take the quiz. So, that's what I meant to say. The Starship opens on Wednesday. It has limited spots available. If you're interested in getting allies and getting an official accountability partner, and it sounds like the kind of support you need right now, go to tarswiger.com/starshipbiz, and you'll find a sign-up form there to sign up to be one of the first notified. So you'll find out before anybody else that it's open, so you can grab one of those limited spots. And it'll just give you the opportunity to meet some of the other captains and to hear if the Starship is right for you. So when you sign up there, I'll send you an e-course over the one email every couple days over the next week or so. You'll get to meet some of the other captains that are aboard the Starship, hear how it worked for them, and I send you an email that tells you, is it right for you, is it not right for you, to help you sort out if it's what you need or not. So there's no obligation if you sign up, but it does let you learn more if that's going to be what you need. So tarswiger.com/starshipbiz. If you're watching this when the Starship is live, then that will take you to the sales page where you can read more. If it is closed, because it only opens for a couple days each quarter, it will take you to the sign-up page to learn more. Okay, thanks so much for watching. Be sure to tell me what kind of support you're getting in your business or what kind of support you need with the hashtag #MonthOfBizLove. Thanks so much, and I hope you are having a very loving, enthusiastic, supportive day.